Hedera Hashgraph HBAR. We're going to be talking about one reason why I'm expecting HBAR and Hedera Hashgraph to do so well from here on out. And it has everything to do with the governing council. We're going to be diving into a little bit about the governing council, what they are, expanding on it, talking about Hedera generally as a project. And then we're going to be going over and we're going to be looking at their partnership with Dell Technologies. Dell is one of the largest companies in the United States. As a trader, we don't just trade the cryptocurrency market, and certainly as an investor, we also look at the stock market. And you will all know that since the start of the year, we took a very long approach on the stock market. It was one of the, certainly I would say one of the best calls we've made this year. You know, Microsoft's been our kind of golden child, if you will, as it made its inverse head and shoulders target. And we're seeing this pattern play out across the board. And Dell Technologies is something that I've been watching very closely. We were expecting a bit more of a rest here, but it's done absolutely phenomenally. And as I was sort of thinking about Dell and looking at it from a price point of view, I very quickly realized that it was one of the governing council members of Hedera. And we're going to talk about why this is significant. Now, Hedera has a number of the world's largest companies on its governing council. And this is significant because just like we're going to show you in a second, these companies are going to utilize Hedera and incorporate them into their business models, which is going to drive the demand for Hedera. The TPS, I think, did we cross, was it 20 billion TPS the other day? Through the roof. So that's what we're going to be focusing on in this video. We'll start the video off with just a quick recap of Hedera Hashgraph. Hedera Hashgraph is a distributed ledger technology that runs off of a DAG. Now, a DAG, which stands for Directed Acyclic Graph, is different from, it's not a blockchain. So blockchains are linear, whereas meaning it's kind of one main chain, whereas DAGs are almost like multiple chains rolled up into one, but all one chain, if that makes sense. They're kind of like a blockchain with layer twos and things built into them. Very fascinating. And actually, DAGs have significant capabilities that they can utilize over blockchains. One of them is the kind of directing of transactions. One is the speed that they can implement. You can see, of course, you've got transactions per second for Hedera is impressive. They're very cost effective, not labor intensive, I should say, in terms of maintaining the consensus, and so on and so forth. So Hedera and DAGs are very interesting. I think we're going to see the rise of more and more DAGs. It is a smart contract project. For all intents and purposes, it is a Ethereum competitor. And unlike quite a lot of other blockchains out there, like Bitcoin, for example, which is ran by thousands of miners, or something like Cardano, which is ran by thousands of stake pools, or Ethereum, which is ran by stake operators, Hedera is ran, the consensus is maintained by something called the governing council for now. This will change. They do plan on bringing public nodes in. And this governing council consists of some of the largest companies in the world. We can see Boeing, Google, Dell, LG, Standard Bank. What am I going to dive into in this video, and why is it that this governing council makes me very bullish on the prospects for Hedera moving forward from here? Well, it's absolutely my belief that just like most companies, pretty much all of them, certainly in the Western world, use the internet, and they use computers and things like this, which was all technological revolutions beforehand. When they came out, the standard wasn't to use them, but of course we evolve, businesses evolve. Blockchain is no different, and most companies out there are going to use and utilize blockchain. The governing council, in my opinion, is a bootstrapping for Hedera and its usage and its acceptance as an enterprise grade blockchain. What I want to do, guys, is I want to dive into a number of clips. So let's get into the first clip, which of course is an introduction into who Dell actually are.
Sure. Well, my background is actually I arrived at Dell through the acquisition of EMC. So, Dell has that trusted brand, well known among consumers. But once the acquisition of EMC, they also brought another trusted brand, which is a lot of our infrastructure that runs in data centers, in the cloud, on the edge, that sort of thing. So not only do we make, the highly visible consumer products, but Dell also manufactures a lot of the infrastructure and data protection plumbing that runs the internet, basically.
Dell is a fundamental player in the internet. It's a fundamental player in many different industries as well. Let's move on to.
Well, I think there's two reasons, really, Zenobia. The first one is, as I mentioned, we have a lot of infrastructure products, and our customers are increasingly moving from centralizing them in one location to distributing them across multiple locations, whether it's multi-cloud or whether it's edge. So we believe that a distributed ledger will be a critical part of the architecture for edge computing. We need some sort of a trusted, multi-party way to communicate business transactions. And so Dell is increasingly exploring distributed ledger technology, and Hedera has that enterprise focus that we really liked. So that's reason number one that we've decided to join. The second reason is that our customers are increasingly interested, experimenting with writing applications that run on distributed ledgers. So for us, when we join the council, right, to actually implement a node, right, a Dell server running on the Hedera network, we'll gain valuable experience that we can and then turn and share with our customers and help them on their journey to use distributed ledgers.
Absolutely fascinating. You can see they really are looking to utilize this technology. Let's move on to the next clip.
And exactly how distributed is that?
There's probably 7 or 8 different verticals, right, at least, that are really growing with edge. Transportation is a great vertical. Retail, as you mentioned, going into a store. Medical is another one. And they all have this characteristic that data is being created far away from a data center, and it needs to be processed and handled immediately in a trusted way. And all of the thought leadership, all of the intellectual property, everything that we've built up in the data center, right? Somehow all that trust needs to make its way out into those regions or those locations where the data is being manufactured. So we think that there is likely a distributed ledger nearby somewhere that can help with this trusted processing of data. And that's why we think distributed ledgers and edge computing is such a strong match.
Absolutely fascinating. There's likely a distributed ledger nearby somewhere, wink, wink, Hedera, that is going to help them with this kind of trust issue. Let's move on to the next clip.
Well, I think the biggest thing we're excited about in working with all these other council members is that they've already gone through the process of installing an enterprise class trusted server in their infrastructure and got it running, right, for a specific use case. And it may or may not be edge, right? So when we come to the council and we begin to collaborate with and work other companies like a Boeing or an IBM or a ServiceNow or a Google, we'll gain this visibility into, well, what kind of applications are they running? Because we'll bump into those customers. There probably will be Dell customers trying to solve those exact same problems. So we tap into this rich network of use cases that are already in flight, already have a lot of thought put behind them, and that can accelerate solutions for our customers, which is something we're really excited about.
Nothing short of eye-opening. It really is. I want to play the last little clip, which is kind of the wrap-up of it, of him giving some closing thoughts, and then we'll end the video.
I'd just like to share with the community, we've already got a glimpse of what you're working on. We've already started joining your meetings and meeting all of you, and looking forward to further collaboration with Dell.
Pretty amazing, guys. I think it paints a pretty clear picture of where Hedera is heading. again, that is just one of 29 major institutions that make up the governing council. And it's certainly, you know, I think an amazing prospect that Hedera has moving forwards. Full disclaimer, we own Hedera. I know I'm going to love and leave you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next.